So we are back. This time me and Pavla thought we would come in to speak a little bit about the Empowerment Project over the last 2 years now. So It's been going for how long? Just over 2 years.
I left my job, 5th of November 2 years ago. So just over 2 years.
So good timing for this podcast. It's flown by. It's been an interesting couple of years. I suppose we want to talk about some of the things that we've done, some of the lessons we learned, and I'm guessing some of the challenges that we've maybe faced. Obviously, being in a relationship, building a business together, doing it while, working at home as well. So obviously comes with challenges, being around each other 24/7. But yeah, so I guess the first thing we'll start off with was we started doing the photo shoots of our clients because it was a really good incentive for them to actually push on and achieve some goals. And we obviously funded that for the clients, but they just needed to be committed to the process to do it. And they've been quite interesting. How many of them have we done now?
Overall?
Yeah.
September, December, February, May, September, October. Six.
Yeah. So we've had the best part of probably 20 people go through them at least.
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
Some of them twice.
Yeah, some of them twice because they've said they wasn't going to do it to start with and then in the end end up thoroughly enjoying it. Then obviously we had some in-gym person events, doing quite a lot of online challenges. Being December this month, we've got our online challenge.
Yeah, that's been actually pretty good fun. 12 days of Christmas, just a bit of a relaxing challenge before Christmas to make sure like the guys kind of look after themselves rather than, usually we do like fitness challenges, but this one is more focused on their own downtime and just 15-30 minutes out of day really use it for themselves.
Yeah, it's easy to I'm guessing let things slip throughout December and the reality is like we'll probably even overeat in December at like Christmas Day and Boxing Day and New Year's Eve and all that type of stuff. But you did a good post about that the other week. There's only really a small snippet of your entire month. And it just seems like a shame to let things slip for an entire month and just start forming bad habits to make you feel like crap. It's like, enjoy yourself. It's there to be enjoyed, but you don't need to not do anything for an entire month. So if anything, even when people are a bit busy or, don't really like to use the word, but a bit demotivated, at least it gives them something to sort of realign them a little bit. And that challenge tends to work quite well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So they're the main things that we've had. We've had the photo shoot. We've obviously had a few like in-gym meetups. We've had the online challenges, like the workshop, and then obviously our Christmas meetup once a year. And we'll talk about a couple of things that we're ideally planning on sort of finalising and getting going for next year, which will be exciting. So some further improvements to the programme. But I'm guessing we could talk about the evolution of the Empowerment Project a little bit, maybe, how it evolved.
How it all started. I don't even know. I still remember the time we were trying to come up with the name, which I did, by the way. I remember It was my idea.
I knew you were going to take credit for that. Just typical.
But at the beginning, obviously, it was really you, right? It was you doing your thing.
It was also more group based,
yes.
Right? So from previous like programs that I've created, it was first of all it was just group training in a gym, basically like a glorified boot camp. That's pretty much what it was. And that I went from personal training to that, and I thought that would have been a better option in terms of support. And it was like it created a good community of people. But I'm guessing the bit that was missing was that personal element. So it was like, how can we almost get like the community and the personal element together? And after a little while, that's why I then like moved away from the group training part. And obviously you, while we were doing that for maybe 12 to 18 months, you were helping me run that so that you were working in the day and then helping me do that in the evenings. And I'm guessing obviously lockdown,
changed everything.
Yeah, changed everything. I mean, we started doing online group classes, and we realized it was okay, but like I said, for me, I didn't feel as fulfilled doing it because like people just wasn't necessarily getting the results that I hoped they were going to get. And obviously for me, like, and for you, it's been a big part of helping people change their lives and actually, achieve things they didn't really think was possible. So that's where we sort of pivoted it and then went into the one-to-one model with elements of like community to it, like we do now. And that always worked way better because it was like we could serve each person individually, give them individualized exercise programs, give them personalized nutrition support, hold them accountable on a personal level. And like, everybody's needs are different. And, it's the same as some of your clients. I'll have some that will eat out for breakfast, lunch and dinner most days of the week because that's just their lifestyle. And that's how it has to happen around their work and their schedule. And some people are willing to weigh every gram of food they eat. So obviously the level of advice you give people is going to be different. And I found in that group model, we just couldn't serve people necessarily how we wanted to.
No, and also it was just very much yes, we had the community because we had our group, but it was very much focused on exercise. And we obviously know by now it's not the exercise that's going to bring you most of the results you want. So we needed to kind of change the layout of the program.
Yeah, very much so. And obviously we've been doing further education on our nutrition over the last few years to really upskill ourselves and better serve our clients. But as a whole, the results have been substantially better this way. Obviously for me and you, it's been a lot more fulfilling. And
Totally.
even at times where it has been a challenge to try and build it from like the ground up, and we sometimes have different opinions on how we should do it, it's still easier to sort of sit down and figure it out because we're fulfilled doing what we do, which I think is pretty important. Otherwise, if you're just doing it for other reasons that seem good on paper, like, I don't know, more freedom because of like the lifestyle that you end up getting from the job, then inevitably sometimes that's not really going to cut it. So yeah, obviously we did that, and then you were helping me out a little bit with the stuff during the lockdown, and then sort of bit the bullet and went for it, right? And that was basically 2 years ago from now.
I don't even know how we came about it, but you kind of told me to get my qualification done, which I did. Obviously my PT, did my pre and postnatal training as well, and then went back to work after lockdown stopped, and decided office job is no longer for me, and I have no full fulfillment from it. And we took the risk, and I then left the job, and obviously we decided to do this full on, and that's how Empowerment Project.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of that. Like you were always thinking, like, okay, like what direction should I take this in? You were thinking about different jobs, and also then like I guess when I was at home all day, like working on the laptop, trying to like figure this thing out, and you were like in work all day, just like constantly around people. So I was around nobody. You were around people all day. You would come home exhausted. And I'll be like a kid in a sweet shop, like, yes, let's go and do something. And you used to be like, I just want to chill. Like, I don't want to do anything. So we just had this, like, I guess in a bit of a conflict in energy for a little while, right? And that's when I was like, okay, now's probably the perfect time to try and get our lifestyles to align a little bit at least, so we're on a similar page. And that was like maybe, I think there was a few reasons, but that was probably another thing that, push you in the direction to give it a go.
Well, yeah, and of course I liked what we were doing, and I felt like me going through my own journey is gonna help benefit the women I'm gonna help.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've obviously been there yourself, and you've seen how the program started to impact other people. So it's quite nice to know that, okay, look, some of the things that you've learned that can now influence other people to make a change as well. And to be honest, like when you came on board, it's like, I have to give you credit to that. That's when things really started to take off. Because I think a lot of people were like, especially a lot of, obviously you just work with women, mine's women and guys, but nowadays it's probably more men than it is women, to be honest. It just happens to go that way. But you obviously just attracted a load of women. And I think that's because of really your journey was so authentic in the sense of like where you were and your struggles and where you've come to now. And even the fact sometimes you don't claim to know it all. You're quite honest about it. But you also show people how you're trying to figure it out. And I think that's always worked quite well. Yeah.
And obviously all the, experiences I have from working with every one of my clients, they're all different. And then I can put it into practice with the rest of the girls. So yeah, it all comes together, and yeah, I might not have like years of experience, but I do, more knowledge, but I do have the experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course. It's like we're always still learning, and this is even what me and you having this conversation with Matt the other day, who's coming on board to help us out now, moving into the new year. And it's like, I'm guessing I've been doing this now for 8 years, including the personal training in the gym, and you've been doing it a few years yourself, and obviously your own experience prior to that. But I'm still learning now. Like I'll still sit there, and if a client didn't necessarily get the result that they were expecting, or if maybe I could have helped them out in a better way, or even if they did extremely well, I would sit down and go like, okay, how has this been the conclusion to this outcome? And go, okay, like what could I do differently next time? And I think that's obviously because me and you really enjoy what we do. That's one thing we're pretty obsessed about, is always making it better. And not overcomplicating things. Like I think that's where we went wrong at the start. Like we were trying to give people loads more stuff. Like, here's all these recipes, here's this fancy membership area, like here's all these things. But people didn't want that. They just wanted their life to be simple and be told like, okay, this is what I should do. This is what's going to give me the most, bang for my buck, if you like, in terms of my time invested to get the results that I want. So if anything, we're looking at constantly stripping the program back, simplifying it, getting people to their result or their goal, I should say, in an easier, less stressful way. So yeah, I'm looking forward to some of the things we got in the new year. And so it's moving into that. We've also realized as well, one thing that, a lot of people do like when every time we do them, doesn't matter how we do them, but just that element of community. So the thing that we did have before, people did like that. But obviously, it's not the be all. It's not the be all and end all, and it's not the bread and butter of results that the personal coaching is. But trying to bring people together now and again, I think anybody wants a bit of human connection now and again, and it's good to be around like-minded people that have similar interests, similar results, or similar goals and similar struggles. So even when we just do like something simple like that, Christmas meetup, and we all go for drinks in a bar, and there was like 30 of us there the other day. It's just great because everybody realizes they do have quite a lot in common. So ideally, we're looking at throwing a few of them together in maybe a bit more of a professional way next year, and actually ideally bringing in some guest speakers to educate our clients a bit more in topics that we're not necessarily a specialist in.
And the guys then become friends, like you see with the girls, they met at photo shoot and now they met again for drinks and they just suddenly become friends. So it's just great for us to see it like that as well,
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I know that there's a big virtual element to the program, but bringing people together when possible is also something that we're definitely trying to figure out and improve upon moving into 24. I think that's one of our main goals. Because it will help drive more results when people see what other people are achieving that are maybe a bit further ahead of them, or even, learning from some other people from their mistakes. As a whole, it helps. So, I'm guessing the group coaching that I did a while back, which seemed like a waste of time at the time, in hindsight, probably wasn't necessarily a bad thing. So it gave us a few things to pull away from that we can now integrate into this program.
It was an experience like everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's speak about maybe some of the challenges, obviously, of building this. So, during the lockdown, when we were doing this, obviously, no different to everybody else. It's like, you're at home the entire day, and then maybe at least sometimes if like one partner's got one job and they do that and the other partner's got the other job. But with me and you, we had exactly the same job and we lived in a little one-bed flat in Paddington.
I was on the sofa.
Yeah, you're on the sofa on your laptop. And
you were in a bedroom, right?
No, I think
At
so.
the beginning,
but
you must have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But obviously some days we'd be just in the same room as each other. If not, I'll be on the bed in the bedroom and you'll be on the sofa in the front room. And just obviously working on this together. And, sometimes it's obviously challenging because if we always said we need to like separate our relationship and the business, because we don't agree with each other, like something that someone said, or we're annoyed at each other about something that's happened inside of the program, doesn't mean it's like, and it's just, it was sometimes hard, I guess. Even now we have to try our best to work on that and just, try and put a fine line in between, okay, look, this is work and this is outside of work.
Yeah, even when we go out, sometimes we still talk about work. So sometimes we just need to
I think we're more aware of that.
No, we are getting better.
Yeah, but I think the biggest, that was probably a huge bottleneck for us in the first 6 to 12 months. But I think that's normal, and it's like you can't try to make something good if you're not necessarily a little bit obsessed about it, in my opinion.
I remember I always used to tell you of when we took Pep out for walk and you kept talking about work, and I'm just like, stop talking, I want to enjoy my walk.
Yeah, and even if we got a date night, before you know it, we're talking about that. So it is important that we don't, because I've realised now after doing it for like 2 years with you, I do find it, I find it extremely hard to switch off. I just can't switch off. It's really difficult for me, even in the evening when I'm like, I've done all my tasks, I'm then trying to like find other work to do sometimes, which is not good. Like you need to sometimes just chill. But I've realized over time that by trying to just like chill a little bit and have these times that I do block out in my week, I do feel a bit more energized. And when I come back to doing the things I should be doing, I'm more present doing them. I come up with better ideas, or I do it more efficiently. So sometimes more isn't always more. It took me a little while to maybe realize that. But it's slowly going in the right direction. And then, okay, let's get and talk about some of the benefits, because, even if it is the whole relationship side of things and the work is obviously, something that we had to sort of balance, if you like, and we're still probably trying to work on that now a little bit. Obviously, the benefits now are pretty clear in comparison to before. It's like we're both on the same page. If we both want to take a day off, we can. I mean,
2 brains are always better than one, because you always bring different ideas in and I always bring different ideas in. So it definitely helps. Yeah. But it's 2 of us doing it,
Yeah, it's made it move a lot faster. It's been a lot more efficient in that sense. What's next then in terms of other things? Obviously, we spoke about
the events.
Anything else in particular that we've got coming up for next year?
We obviously have, we've got shoot in February. Then I'm planning to do one March, beginning of April until I'm able to. And then obviously, some events that obviously we want to kind of gather ideas from our clients as well, what they would like to do. But in your opinion, it's something like a whole day event, Saturday, maybe Sunday, weekend, educational, a bit of fun, bit of socializing. So that's definitely something we want to put into place next year at least 2 to 3 times, as well as shoots and fun.
By the sounds of it, you got it all planned out, but you're not going to be there for it.
But I am going to be there for it. Yes, of course I am.
When baby Thomas arrives.
Yes.
Right? So that's end of May. So you'll be giving me here's what to do, but I'm not here.
No, I'll still be involved. Like, everyone keeps asking me, like, you taking time off work and all that. And to be honest, I'm not, because like, obviously we don't know what's it going to be, but we are home, which I'm very grateful for that. My mum's going to come. So yes, I might have a week or two, but...
Big up Maru. My God.
My mum's going to be busy. But I'm still going to be there. I'm not taking any
she's going to come and live with us for 2 or 3 months, probably longer, see how it goes. But she's going to come with us for at least roughly a good chunk of the summer to help out and help us find a new version of normal, whatever that looks like.
And not to kill each other.
Yeah. No, we'll be fine. Yeah, it's like anything else. You just got to figure it out to start with.
We also have 2 dogs, remember?
Yeah. But it's
not just the baby.
Yeah, we'll be fine. But yeah, I think that's another benefit of it. Like, we can we're quite lucky in that regard. Obviously, one of the things on the flip side of that is like, we sometimes find ourselves working evenings, weekends. Christ, we're on our honeymoon, we're still whipping our laptop out and our clients are having a go at us. But yeah, I'm guessing a part of that is because we really do care and we don't want people to pay us. And then we just don't really respond or do anything. I mean, obviously, even when we're on holiday on our honeymoon, our clients tell us to go away, but I still feel an element of responsibility sometimes just to check in and make sure people are all right, because, we're on that journey with them to get a result. It's not just like, here's the information and go and get the result. We sort of take on the responsibility of trying to help each person to get there together as a bit of a team. And then they then sometimes feel more accountable to do it because they don't want to let us down. And that's somewhat part of it. That's the whole point.
And also right? You get to know your clients so well, anything they do and personalize how they feel, how their mental health is. And so I always want to be there for them, and I want them to know that. So.
Well, a lot of the vast majority of them, especially the ones that stay around for a little minute, end up becoming good friends as well, right? For the most part. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting, obviously, with the baby as well. But yeah, you don't need to be taking time off as such. I mean, you obviously, I think you should, but if you don't want to, that's fine. But we can
see how that goes.
Yeah, see how that goes when we get to that point. Yeah. But obviously, with your mum here and me and you together, we'll manage it out. Yeah, so that's that's one of my personal goals that I put on my list for next year, is to try and find a good balance by the end of the year, whatever that looks like. I know a lot of parents will be listening to this and laugh. There's no such thing as a balance, but at least a little bit more of a new version of normal. And then I'm guessing, obviously, for you, it's like your first time going in the opposite direction with things for a little while, right? Obviously, 10 years ago or so now is when you were probably at your heaviest, I guess. And the last 5 to 6 years, you feel like you've been slowly sorting that out. And then the last 2 to 3 years, you've really sorted it out. So now it's just sort of being okay, going back up. Yeah. I don't know, maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's been quite an interesting journey, this whole pregnancy, because most of my teens and up until I was 30, I was dieting. That was always my thing to get to where I wanted to be. And last year I finally achieved it, got to where I wanted to be, and obviously, now with the wedding and everything and me falling pregnant, I know that that's not where I'm going to stay now. And some days, obviously, I'm just 16, 17 weeks. I do find it challenging to see, because my fear was always, I will never get to 70 kilos again. And obviously I crossed it now. I'm above that a little bit. But so that's been a bit of a challenge, but I know it's for a specific reason. And I'm not being silly or overeating. I'm being quite sensible, and I'm still, although, yes, I would like to eat sometimes silly food, I also know that's not good for me. And I always try to make sensible choices. 2 meals out of the 3 are always good. Even if I don't fancy the meat, I will make sure I have my protein, carbs, and veg. So I've been finding it easier and easier. Sometimes it does take me by surprise, when the number goes up. But again, I will get back to where I want to be after the baby's born.
I was going to say, that's another goal of yours, is to sort of, I'll put that down on my notes actually for you, is that I know you said you wanted to get back to that place post-baby weight, almost just to prove that you can do it yourself again, I suppose.
Well, yeah,
right?
because I was putting away my summer clothes and then I was nearly crying thinking I'm not going to be able to fit into them next year, but I will eventually again.
Yeah, but the year afterwards, you'll get there, exactly. But you've been very much accountable, and I think that's where your habits have changed and your perception of food has changed, and also just like the way you look after yourself as well nowadays. It's like, okay, look, I'm hungry. I do fancy a bit of crap. Okay, maybe I should have a decent meal first, see how I feel, and then maybe have a tiny bit of that afterwards, but not just like rely on the latter, right?
No, because even like yesterday, you've seen me, like I stopped now eating, like I had the chocolate and ice cream. And although that used to be like, I would literally polish that, I just stopped because I didn't really fancy it. So,
I polished it for you.
Yeah, you did. you polished it after me. So I feel because now it's not just me I'm thinking about, I'm not gonna just eat things for the sake of it. Yes, I'll still have my chocolate sometimes and my biscuits, and I'll never say no to a cake. But I do feel like, because it's not just me to think about, I definitely find a better balance with it.
Yeah, I think you have done for a little while though, right? It's just like the journey you've gone on. It's a bit of a slow thing. It's like, for most people, their food is like habits that you've had for 10 to 15 years, and then you're trying to change them. It's not going to happen overnight. Like that habit obviously took a while to get to the extent that it is. So to undo that, it takes a little moment. I feel like you're at the point now where you've done that and have done for a little while, and that's the same as what we help our clients out with. And I even got off a call with a woman the other day who's just started working with you, and she was like, oh, one of my biggest concerns is that I'm going to screw it up. And I said to her, yeah, you are, like 100% you are. Of course you're going to.
We want you to.
Exactly. But then Pavla's going to sit there, and as long as you communicate with her, she's going to talk to you and understand where you went wrong and how you could go less wrong next time. It's not a case of never like not getting, it's not a case of always getting things right, I should say, but it's just a case of like being gradually better over time.
Yeah, making mistakes is great. Like I always say to my girls, like, there's something about me and my clients. It's like I know when they don't feel good. I just know, even when they don't tell me. And then when we jump on the call and we then talk about, what's been happening, usually what happens with majority of women, I would say, like when we have one bad day or 2 bad days, we then feel guilty and start self-sabotaging, feel like, what's the point to continue? I might as well actually continue to eat badly. When actually, have those 1 or 2 days, then have a little bit of reset, wake up, and then continue as normal, and you're going to feel so much better for it. And every time I say it to the girls, they're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, why should I feel bad? Because there's always going to be days where life gets in the way, stress gets in the way, you're going to be tired. The nutrition is not going to be perfect. It never is. And I always say, do not aim for perfection, aim for things to get better. Make mistakes, learn from it. Next time you're going to do better. Just, it's a lifestyle, and it's not going to be perfect.
No, exactly. No, I agree. I mean, I think this is where we're quite open and honest about that. Like, there's even times now where we'll, I said you're on top of it, but there's even times now where we'll, in quote, if you like, screw it up. I wouldn't ever say that I've ever struggled with my weight as such. Maybe for a little bit during the lockdown when I was obviously drinking stuff a little bit more, but it wasn't like to the point where I felt real bad about myself, but it was obviously getting a little bit on the heavier side. But I'd never say I've necessarily had a bad relationship with food. But even then, every now and again, the inevitable will happen. I end up overeating, have more than I should have done. It's just a case of realigning yourself and getting back to doing what you know that makes you feel good. That's the most important thing.
Well, yeah, because more silly food, if you say you're going to put in you, it is going to reflect on how you feel, how you perform, and you will probably most likely continue to eat that way unless you are probably accountable, talk to someone about it, have that reset, and then just keep going and keep continuing with your usual routine. Same like what I said to girls over Christmas. I had a couple of calls this week. We're going to do a different check-in this Sunday with clients. There's going to be higher days where I do want them to enjoy the Christmas stuff, the cakes, the mince pies, the mulled wine, which I'm jealous about, anything they want. But then the 24, 25, 26 might be quite heavy. But then 27, 28, 29, 30 can kind of be as normal, keeping on top of steps, going to the gym, kind of having similar structure when it comes to food, what they had pre-Christmas. And that will help to balance things out.
Yeah, just
like
level
the whole
off
year
a little
around.
bit. Yeah, level it off. Yeah, I mean, you were somewhat subconsciously doing the same, I guess, just because obviously we know in Czech next week there'll be days where it's a little bit higher. And even at the moment, if I'm on like I'm guessing a strength phase or a lean bulk or whatever you want to call it, I'm sort of maybe a semi-support mission for you over the winter while you're going up in weight. I was like, making sure that your weight don't go past mine. So I was like, I'll just gain a bit as well.
Being supportive husband.
Exactly. But even then, like, even if, you know, my calories are pretty damn high at the moment, around about 4,000 a day. It's like some days at the moment, I'm just eating like 3 or 3.2. It's still a lot. But in my head, I'm like, it's sort of going to help free up a bit of room when I'm in Czech, you know, next week. And I guess with that being said, you know, maybe we'll leave this for another podcast, but I may as well touch on it quickly, because when some people may hear about, you know, eating all that food, it's like, oh, okay, you've got loads of flexibility. But it's actually quite challenging eating that much food when you're just eating clean stuff, because that's all I'm doing. I'd say maybe 200 to 400 calories in my diet each day is whatever, like
probably
chocolate.
Not even that.
Yeah, like chocolate or whatever, max. Otherwise, the vast majority of it, like 90 to 95%, is just, you know, calories that are going to help support better energy and performance. Because if you're just eating whatever, you know, it's no point in demonizing foods. But if you're trying to perform better and you've just got more calories in the tank, you're not necessarily going to feel better. You're going to feel more lethargic, more sluggish, you know, not as good recovery. So it goes against what you're trying to achieve. The whole reason why I'm eating more at the moment is, yeah, I'm going to gain a bit of body fat, but it's also so I can train harder and recover faster, therefore keep gradually upping the intensity of my training over the winter period. And that's really the whole point of it in a nutshell. Is why.
And then you can join my post-pregnancy cut.
I was going to say, so that's my first goal, to get stronger and a little bit more efficient on the running. And then definitely come May, I'll be on a post-pregnancy cut as well. So maybe.
Which helps. Like, look, we did dieting together. It massively helps when you have someone supporting you or even doing it with you. You know, we have couples on the program where when 2 people do it in the same household, it's a huge benefit to both of them, right? Like, you don't have stuff in the cupboard that, you know, that you might want to when you shouldn't have it. Going gym, doing their steps, like, massively helps. And
we've had a few couples do the photo shoot and stuff recently, and even people that don't like that type of stuff. You know, we've got loads of clients that have worked with us on a couple basis and got great results as well. It always works well because, you know, both you're on the same page, you're both sort of supporting each other, and yeah, you're both trying to change habits quicker. And like you said, you're removing that element of temptation. If you know, if your partner sat there and just eating whatever and you're there just trying to have like a stable meal, it obviously makes it more challenging. So yeah, it is easier. And I'm guessing for me, I've not really done what I'm doing at the moment since probably my late teens, early 20s. Like, I'm guessing when I was a bit more of a skinnier teenager, my only goal was to always just eat and get bigger and put on muscle. I don't really care for that now, but I thought it'd just be interesting to do it again because I've not done it in so long. And like, you know, reality is I could have maintained previously at like 3,000 calories a day, but I'm like, you know, maybe it's just a bit of moral support for you at the moment, at least. So I was like,
it helps.
It's like maybe it's a good time for me to focus on that. And it just gives me a bit of a different dynamic to my training over the winter period. I always like to have something to focus on. I was just find I get bored if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the gym. I'll always do it, even if there is no goal. But inevitably, I'll try that bit harder if there's just something in the back of my mind that I'm trying to actually shoot for. So getting stronger at the moment and eating more is the aim.
But you've also been doing a lot of running and planning an Ironman, right?
Yeah, so that's going to be next year. Obviously, the Ironman won't be until the end of next year. The training will probably pick up as soon as the kid comes out, which is bad timing, maybe good timing. Who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah, just extra support from Marie. Bless her. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously by then, with me like doing a slow upper body bulk and then also doing a lot of running, at the moment I'm not so fussed about running times. It's more just getting distance on my feet just to get my body more conditioned to it and making sure that, you know, previously if I was doing a 25 or 30k run, my legs would have been wrecked for 2 or 3 days afterwards. Where now, like, I can get up and, okay, they're a bit sore, but I can run the next day. So it just shows my body's getting more conditioned to that. And it's just doing that slowly over time. So that's that. But I'm guessing, obviously, yeah, cut a fair bit of weight off again when it does come to doing it, because there's no way you can do some of these big endurance sports carrying too much bulk. So yeah, I mean, maybe we'll cut back down and ideally hold on to a little bit of strength as I get lighter again. That would be the aim. So we'll both do that together. That would be interesting. We can document that again next summer, give people a little bit of value from our journey. It always sort of helps other people, gives people a little bit of inspiration in that sense. And then, yeah, the Ironman will be in October. That's going to be the full one this time, not the half. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a later date when it comes closer to it, because the thought of that at the moment feels a bit overwhelming, but I'm sure we'll get there. That was a good conversation, and be interested to see where the Empowerment Project is in 12 months' time at our 3-year stage. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, look, we live together in one bed flat. We got married, so I think we're doing well.
Yeah, no, we got there.
We
But no,
haven't killed each other yet.
No, not killed each other quite yet. But no, I mean, in terms of the amount of people that we've helped as well, it's been great in terms of the clients we've worked with, like past and present. A lot of people have put a lot of trust in us to help them, and obviously we're always grateful for that. And it's always good that we've had a bit of an impact on a lot of people now, which is amazing. I'm looking forward to some of the things we've got coming up in the new year. And yeah, like we're always open to feedback from our clients and even people externally that watch us that are not part of the program. You know, we always get sort of messages and sort of positive feedback from people. Seems like we're doing something good at least. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I think because it's coming to the end of the year, obviously there's going to be a lot of people kind of starting new things in January. Maybe because obviously we've seen it before, this whole new year, new me, aggressive diets. Maybe what would your advice to someone would be who is planning to start to work on their goals in the beginning of new year to make sure like they actually get there? What would you advise them to do and not to do?
I'm guessing sort of try to work backwards. So whatever that goal is and whatever time they anticipate on and achieve it in, then think about the work that's required to actually achieve it, and then ask themselves if they're willing to do it and for that length of period, rather than just going, you know what, I'm going to get here an X date and I'll just, you know, suck it up and try and get on with it. Because, you know, the reality is you can achieve quite a lot in a short period of time, but the faster results you want, the more aggressive you have to be.
The more damage you're going to make.
Well, yeah and no. It depends on the person.
Your mindset.
It depends on the person who it's right for. Like for me, I love an aggressive diet. I can eat a lot. I can also eat not a lot.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah, exactly. So it just, you know, it just depends on the person. And I prefer real fast, aggressive, get it done. And I know, but you just got to know what's right for you. And if you're walking into the unknown, then you want to maybe just tap into it a little bit slower to start with and get a feel for what's going on. And you can always then start to ramp it up. There's nothing wrong with that. Like you can start to pick the dial up after a few weeks. But I would say always like work backwards. Think about, okay, where do I want to be? Then realistically, like what work am I willing to do each week? And then roughly how long is it going to take? And then you're clear on your expectations. You know, if you want to lose 20 kilos, which is a lot of weight, and you're only willing to do 4,000 steps a day and maybe a minor calorie deficit twice a week, then you're really going to have to push that goal out. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. You just want to be clear on what you're roughly willing to do and how long it's going to take you to achieve it. Otherwise, the inevitable will happen. You'll feel disappointed with your efforts and you will stop because your expectations are not matching what's clearly happening. And I'm guessing the last thing to sort of add to that is, yeah, if you're thinking about doing anything drastic that also just doesn't seem like a good idea to start with, like, you know, most people are pretty good at going, okay, does this seem sensible or not? Like if someone's telling you to drink a load of shakes or do something just doesn't seem like a good idea, then you already know the answer yourself. Like what we need to do is not rocket science. We just need to find ways of exercising more that, you know, makes us feel good, that we enjoy, get outside a little bit more regularly in nature and just do things that are good for our mental health and also physical health, just moving more. And then lastly, just eating, you know, more nutritiously dense foods in a way that's not boring either. And that's really everything in a nutshell. Now, that's what we do for every single client. We just package it up in different ways so it actually works into their lifestyle.
And it's the accountability as well. And like, I think breaking down your goal into smaller chunks and having smaller goals definitely helps as well, because then the bigger goal doesn't seem so far away. But even, yes, if you are planning to start in January, like, and you want to feel great by summer, that is 6 months. You can achieve so much in 6 months. Like
the vast majority of people can be where they want to be by the summer.
Literally.
Like, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So,
I had a girl, you know, Shannon, she lost, obviously everyone is different. And for her, it was a huge thing. And like, she's lost 20 kilos in like 5 to 6 months. That doesn't obviously happen to everyone. Everyone has a different lifestyle, but everyone has the same time. And there's so much like that can be achieved in 6 months. Like anyone who is going to start in January can be where they want to be by summer.
It depends on the person, but you know, anywhere between, let's say, 1/3 of a kilo to a kilo a week, in that bracket. So 0.3 upwards of a kilo a week is anywhere in there is more than reasonable. Obviously, it depends on their person. Depends on the person. Depends what they're willing to do and their starting point and their circumstances. But if you fit yourself somewhere in that bracket, it's definitely not unreasonable, right? With the right plan and right approach.
Totally. And I would even say, like, if we would actually count how much weight our clients lost over the 12 months, we would definitely be in like a couple of hundreds of kilos for sure.
I reckon we would have probably gone past that into a ton maybe.
So I was just
we should work it out and do
should actually do
a
that.
post by the end of the year on that. It'd be interesting to look. I mean, it'd be hard to work it out. There's a lot of people, but we could look for it.
Yeah, but it's just it's just like long-term mindset, consistency. Don't get disheartened by the scales, because they are going to try to trick you, take your measurements, take your pictures, but mostly just change some of the habits and be organized, right? That's the one thing that always works for our clients. Do a big food shows, plan some of your food, 80% be on it, 20% can be a bit of a leeway, and you'll be flying with your results.
I'm guessing one last thing in to add. It's not like it's a sales pitch, but I'll throw it in there because it's no different to what we do with everybody. And it's quite funny because a lot of your clients, even last week, they're coming up to me and they're like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And I'm thinking, who is this? I can't remember. I even said to them, I'm like, I have to like reintroduce myself, because obviously I speak to all your clients initially because I just take all the Kickstart calls, if you like. And I don't really obviously speak to them again because they become your clients, right? Obviously I see them at the events and stuff, but otherwise you communicate with them on a personal level and you support them. But, it's no different with anybody else. All we do to start with, if people are even just curious, I just give them about 15 or 20 minutes of my time. I literally use this iPad right here. And we just run through where they're at the moment, where they would like to be, a little bit like what I said a minute ago. And I will then help them connect the dots. I'll be like, look, reality is based on what you're willing to do and the result you want to achieve. This is how long I think it would take you. This is roughly how you would go about it. And this is the support you would receive in order to actually stick to the plan. What are your thoughts? And they're either like, yep, sign me up, or you know what, I need to go away and think about it. And that is about as far as a sales call goes in the empowerment project. It's really not that difficult. So me and Pavla are always very approachable. And we're always keen to chat to the right people to make sure we get the right people on board that are most likely going to see success inside the program.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add, babe?
No, I think that's it. We're probably going to be back with, I'm going to bring a couple of my clients before I'm going to pop out, and I think we're going to do one more before the baby comes, one more podcast.
Do you say before you pop out?
Yeah. So exciting times ahead for
Indeed.
the Empowerment Project.
Another busy year ahead by those. I thought this year was like, the wedding, the honeymoon, sort of the business getting busy. I was thinking, it's already chaotic, but it seems like next year is going to be more chaos.
We'll see. Maybe we're going to have a very good baby. We'll see.
We'll see. Touch wood.